Introduction. You look at the world and see chaos, randomness, a lottery of good and bad luck over which you seem to have no control. You live like a leaf carried by the wind, at the mercy of forces you don't understand, reacting to circumstances you believe are happening to you. But what if I told you that chaos is an illusion? What if beneath the surface of apparent randomness the universe operates with the impeccable precision of a clockwork mechanism, governed by laws as immutable as the law of gravity? Laws that, once understood, give you the power to stop being a victim and become the master of your own experience. This knowledge is not new. It has been whispered in mystery schools throughout history, inscribed in ancient texts, and guarded by sages. It has been called forbidden, not because it is evil, but because it is radically empowering. It is a dangerous knowledge for any system that seeks to control you, because this knowledge gives you back your sovereignty. It reveals that the power to create, to change, to manifest, does not reside in an external authority, but resides, in its entirety, within the architecture of your own consciousness. This audiobook is the key that opens that sealed door. Together, we will travel through the 7 hidden principles, the invisible gears that move the curtain of reality. You will learn that your mind is the universe in miniature, that your external world is a mirror of your internal world, and that your thoughts and emotions are the energy that sculpts matter and shapes your destiny. The truth has not been hidden. It has only been waiting for you to be ready to see it. The fact that you are here listening is the sign that that moment has arrived. Chapter 1. The first principle, on mentalism. You have accepted the initiation. You have chosen to enter the study of knowledge that promises not only to inform, but to transform you. The first veil we must tear, the first law we must understand, is the most fundamental of all. It is the pillar upon which all other secrets of the universe are supported. The ancient masters summarized this primordial truth in a single enigmatic phrase, a phrase that, once understood, changes everything. The phrase is, the all is mind, the universe is mental. Let's pause here, because these 7 words are the master key that opens all other doors. What does it mean that the universe is mental? It means that the fundamental reality underlying everything we see, the stars, the mountains, our own bodies, is not matter or energy, but consciousness, the mind. It means that the universe is not a dead, purposeless machine that came about by accident. It is a thought, a vast, infinite, living thought occurring in the mind of a primordial consciousness the sages called the All. Imagine a great author. In the silence of their imagination, they conceive an entire world. For the characters in that story, their world is completely real, but their entire existence is a construction held in the author's mind. The forbidden metaphysics teaches us that we are characters in a cosmic dream, that the entire universe is a mental creation of the All. This idea may seem abstract and distant, but here is the second great axiom, which brings the power of the cosmos to your hand. As above, so below. As within, so without. This is the principle of correspondence. It states that the same laws that operate at the highest level of being, the macrocosm, also operate at the lowest level, the microcosm. If the universe was created as a mental act of the All, then we, being sparks of that same consciousness, must possess the same creative power, albeit on a smaller scale. And here we come to the truth that transforms everything for you, the seeker. Your mind is not just a passive receiver. It is an active projector. It is a universe in miniature with the power to create its own realities. Your thoughts are not ephemeral events. That is the great lie that keeps us powerless. The truth is that your thoughts are things. They are forms of energy that act as the blueprint for the reality you experience. Let me break down the process of creation. 1. It begins with a thought. The thought is the initial blueprint, the seed. 2. The thought must be energized by emotion. A thought charged with emotion becomes a vibrational force. 3. A thought, repeated and charged with the same emotion, solidifies into a belief. The belief is a signed, sealed command. 4. Your subconscious mind, that faithful servant, takes this belief as an order. It doesn't judge it. It simply executes it. 5. Finally, by the law of correspondence, the internal blueprint of your belief is projected outward, and manifests as your external reality. A person who holds thoughts of fear is unknowingly drawing a blueprint of scarcity. Their subconscious, with perfect fidelity, builds a reality of lost opportunities and fear-based relationships. Then, they look at their life and say, "See? I was right. Life is hard." They don't realize they are describing their own work of art. Conversely, a person who deliberately holds thoughts of abundance is drawing a different blueprint. The subconscious, with the same impersonal obedience, sets to work to build that reality. This is the essence of mentalism. You are not a victim in a random universe. You are a center of thought in a mental, receptive universe. Your thoughts are the fundamental cause of the reality you experience. This is the first and greatest of the forbidden secrets, because it gives you back all your power. Practice the Mentalist's Workshop. To start using this principle, you must first become aware of the blueprints you've been creating by default. Exercise 1. The audit of your mental blueprints. For the next 3 days, your task is to become a silent observer of your own mental workshop. Keep a notebook. Every time you catch yourself in a recurring thought loop, write it down. Don't try to change or judge it. Just be a scientist observing the data. What are the 3 to 5 most habitual thoughts you tell yourself throughout the day? At the end of the 3 days, look at your list. This is the master blueprint your subconscious has been using to build your life. This awareness is the first and most brutal step toward freedom. Exercise 2. The conscious creation of a thought form. This exercise will give you a direct experience of your mental power. Choose a simple positive state you'd like to experience, like calm. Sit in silence for 2 minutes, close your eyes. Step A, the thought. Deliberately introduce the thought. Think of the word calm. Step B, the image. Now, associate an image with that word. Maybe a serene lake or a soft blue color. Hold that image. Step C, the emotion. Finally, invoke the feeling. Feel your shoulders relax, your breathing deepen. Hold this thought form, the union of thought, image, and emotion, for 60 seconds. You have just performed a deliberate act of mental creation. You have demonstrated that you don't need the external world to give you calm. You can generate it from within. Ejercicio 3 de principle in daily life. Start applying this principle on a small scale. For the next week, choose a small recurring activity in your day. Before starting, pause for 30 seconds. Close your eyes. Consciously set the mental blueprint of the outcome you desire. Before a meeting, affirm, "This is a harmonious and productive meeting." Observe how this simple act of setting the mental cause before the action begins to influence the physical effect. You have learned the first and greatest of the laws. You have understood that you are not a character in a story written by someone else, but the consciousness that imagines and projects the story. Now that you've understood that the universe is mental, the next principle will reveal the infallible connection between your personal projector and the great screen of the world. Chapter 2. The Principle of Correspondence. As within, so without. The ancient Hermetic masters summarized it in an axiom of amazing beauty and depth. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. As above, so below teaches us that the universe is fractal. The same patterns repeat at all scales. The structure of an atom resembles that of a solar system. A river branching into a delta is identical to the bronchi in your lungs. This part of the principle tells us that by studying the microcosm, we can understand the laws of the macrocosm. But it is the second part, as within, so without, that gives us operational power. This is the law of the mirror. It states that your external reality is a perfect, infallible reflection of your internal reality. Your life is not a series of random events. It is a mirror of who you are. Imagine you are in a dark room. You have a flashlight. You turn it on. The beam reveals a mural. What you see is only what your light illuminates. And the quality of what you see depends on the filter on your flashlight. The dark room is the field of infinite potential. Your consciousness is the flashlight, and your inner state, your beliefs and emotions, is the filter. If your filter is colored with fear and scarcity, the universe will reflect a reality of danger. If your filter is tinted with confidence and abundance, the universe will reflect a reality of prosperity. You are not separate from the world. You are its generating center. The mental plane, the reflection of your beliefs. Your inner world is composed of your beliefs and thoughts. This is the script playing on your mind's projector. The external world reflects this script with perfect fidelity. If your belief is life is a struggle, your reality will become a battlefield. You'll attract difficult jobs and constant obstacles, not because you're cursed, but because your inner projector is programmed to manifest struggle. If your belief is I'm not worthy of love, life will present partners who don't value you. These experiences are not a punishment, but a reflection that shouts, this is the belief you are holding as truth. If your belief is I never have enough money, unexpected expenses will appear. The universe is simply giving you confirmation. The recurring patterns in your life are not your destiny. They are a reflection of your mental script. The emotional plane, the reflection of your vibration. Your emotional state is perhaps the most powerful aspect of your inner world. The universe is a field of resonance. It attracts what vibrates at the same frequency. The reflection of your emotional state is seen in the quality of your relationships and your environment. If you live in a state of unexpressed anger, you will attract people and situations that provoke you. The world will constantly give you a reason to be angry, because that's the frequency you're emitting. If you live in constant anxiety, you will perceive the world as dangerous. The mirror of life will show you alarming news. Conversely, if you deliberately cultivate a state of inner peace, you'll notice a miraculous change. People will seem calmer. Situations that stressed you will lose their power. It's not that the world has changed. It's that you've changed your frequency and now tune into harmony. The physical plane, the reflection of your body and finances. Finally, the mirror of correspondence manifests on the physical plane. Your health and wealth are a direct reflection of your inner state. Your body is the most intimate canvas. A state of self-criticism can be reflected as chronic pain. Constant stress can manifest as digestive problems. Your body is the final link, making the energy of your invisible patterns visible. Your financial situation is a brutally honest reflection of your beliefs about abundance. The lack of money is not the problem. It's the symptom. The real problem is your poverty consciousness, the belief that you don't deserve it. The external world simply proves you right. The alchemist's work is never external. It's useless to try to clean a stain in the mirror. The real work is to clean the stain on your own face. When you change the cause, within, the effect, without, must change by law. It is inevitable. Practice. Calibrating your inner mirror. Exercise 1, the correspondence journal. This is an exercise in radical honesty. Choose a recurring, frustrating external circumstance. In your journal, describe it objectively. Then ask yourself, if this external situation were a perfect mirror of my inner state, what habitual belief, thought, or feeling within me would it be reflecting? Be honest. For example, external. My boss never values my work. Possible reflection. It could be reflecting my own belief that I'm not good enough or my resentment toward authority. This exercise gives your power back. Exercise 2, the act as if protocol. To change the reflection, you must present a new image to the mirror. This practice consists of embodying the inner state that corresponds to the reality you desire. For 15 minutes a day, deliberately cultivate that feeling. Close your eyes and ask yourself, how would a person who already lives in a state of financial security feel? Feel that calm. Walk, talk, and make small decisions from that state. You are creating the internal cause that must, by law, attract the external effect. Exercise 3. The world as an oracle. For one full day, change your perspective. Instead of seeing the world as random events, see it as your personal oracle. If someone is kind to you, don't take it as chance. Recognize it as a reflection of the kindness within you. Say thank you to the mirror. If you face a setback, don't see it as an attack. Ask, what is this mirror showing me? What part of me is in a state of frustration? This practice transforms your life from a complaint-filled monologue to a fascinating dialogue with reality. You are not separate from the world. You are its generating center. Your life is not something that happens to you. It is a work of art that is painted from within. The principle of correspondence gives you the paintbrush and reveals that the canvas and the painter are ultimately one and the same. Chapter 3. The Principle of Vibration, the Music of Your Soul. We arrive at the third great pillar of hidden wisdom, the principle of vibration. The ancient axiom states it with thunderous simplicity: nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. This is not a mystical statement. It is a fundamental fact of modern physics. Science has shown us that at the deepest level of reality, solid objects do not exist. Everything you perceive as solid is a vast ocean of energy. It is a whirlwind of atoms, which are vortices of subatomic particles that are not things, but vibrations. Solidity is an illusion of our senses. Everything in the universe, from the most distant galaxy to the most fleeting thought, is energy vibrating at a specific frequency. And here lies the secret. You, as a center of consciousness, are a vibrational broadcasting station. Your state of being, the sum of your beliefs, thoughts, and emotions, emits a specific frequency to the universe, a unique musical note. By the law of resonance, the universe has no choice but to bring you people, circumstances, and events that vibrate in harmony with that note. You don't attract what you want with your thoughts. You attract what you are with your vibration. This is the key that solves why positive thinking often doesn't work. You can repeat affirmations of wealth, but if the music playing in your heart is the vibration of fear and scarcity, that is the true signal you are sending. You are trying to sing an opera note while your entire inner orchestra plays a funeral march. The universe, which is deaf to your words but exquisitely sensitive to your music, will respond to the dominant vibration. To become a master of creation, you must stop being a lyricist and become a composer. You must learn to conduct the orchestra of your own vibrational state, the vibrational scale of consciousness. Not all vibrations are equal. As in music, there are octaves. Dr. David Hawkins, in his work, mapped what he called the scale of consciousness. He showed that every human emotion has a measurable vibrational frequency. At the bottom of the scale, we find the contractive emotions, those of low vibration. They are shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, and anger. To live in these states is to emit a low-frequency signal that, by law, can only attract more circumstances that generate those same feelings. At the top of the scale, we find the expansive emotions, those of high vibration. They are courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. To live in these states is to emit a high-frequency signal that tunes into the harmony, synchronicity, and abundance of the universe. The true alchemy is not to change the world. It is to change your note. It is the conscious work of raising your own vibrational frequency, of going from a poorly tuned radio to a high-fidelity station that transmits the clear symphony of peace and love. But how is this done? It's not done by fighting low frequencies. Fighting fear only creates more fear. Vibrational transmutation is achieved through a three-step process: awareness, acceptance, and choice. Step 1. Awareness, sensing your current note. The first step is to become exquisitely aware of your own vibrational state in every moment. Your body is your tuner. It is the instrument that tells you, in real time, your frequency. Low frequencies feel like contraction. High frequencies feel like expansion. Your first practice is to become a master of sensing your own vibration. Step 2. Acceptance, stopping the fight against dissonance. When you realize you're in a low vibration state, your first instinct is to fight it. I shouldn't feel this way. This resistance is like trying to tune a guitar by tightening a string that is already out of tune. The master's step is radical acceptance. It is allowing the emotion to be there without judgment. When observed with equanimous awareness, the dissonance often begins to dissolve on its own. Step 3. Choice, introducing a new frequency. Once you've created space through acceptance, you can deliberately introduce a new note. You can't instantly jump from despair to joy, but you can always take a small step up the vibrational scale. One of the quickest ways is through gratitude. It's almost impossible to feel gratitude and fear at the same time. By deliberately focusing your attention on a thought of gratitude and, above all, by feeling it in your body, you are introducing a new, higher vibration into your field. You're starting to change the music. Practice, the tuner of your own vibration. Exercise 1. The Vibrational Barometer. This is your daily practice of awareness. Set a silent alarm to go off randomly throughout the day. When it rings, pause for 30 seconds, close your eyes, and ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is my vibrational number right now? Then ask, am I in contraction or expansion? You don't have to do anything with the information. This exercise will make you a master at reading your own inner state. Exercise 2. The Conscious Acceptance Protocol. This is your tool for when you find yourself in a low vibration state. Instead of fighting, you're going to practice rain meditation. Identify the emotion, the dissonance. Feel where it lives in your body. Now imagine a soft, warm rain of acceptance falling on that area. As you do, mentally repeat, I allow this feeling to be here. I am safe. It is just energy. This practice teaches you to be the space for your emotions, not their victim. Exercise 3. The High-Frequency Anchor. You need a quick way to change your note when you need to. Choose your high-vibration anchor emotion. For most, the most accessible is gratitude. Now create a sensory anchor. It can be a mental image, the face of a loved one, a specific memory, or a song that uplifts you. Your practice is to repeatedly associate your sensory anchor with the emotion of gratitude. With repetition, this connection will become automatic. In a moment of stress, by simply evoking your anchor, you can instantly change your vibrational state. You've created your own personal tuning fork. The universe is not a silent place that reacts to your actions. It is a vibrational symphony of which you are an integral part. You cannot avoid playing a note in this symphony. Your only choice is whether you play a note of dissonance and chaos, or one of harmony and beauty. Your feelings are not passive reactions. They are vibrational decrees. You are the composer of the music of your soul, and the world, with perfect fidelity, will always dance to the rhythm you choose to play. Chapter 4. The Principle of Polarity. The Art of Transmutation. The ancient Hermetic axiom expresses it with extraordinary density and beauty. Everything is dual. Everything has its pair of opposites. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. Let's unpack this powerful revelation, as it is the basis of all transmutation. The principle tells us that the opposites we perceive in the world, hot and cold, light and dark, good and evil, are not fundamentally different things. They are simply two extremes of the same thing, two poles of a single spectrum. To understand this, let's use a simple metaphor. The thermometer. Hot and cold seem like absolute opposites. But what are they really? They are simply different degrees of a single thing called temperature. There is no point where cold ends and hot begins. It is a continuum, and most importantly, we can change the degree of temperature. The principle of polarity reveals that all realities in our life operate under this same law. You are not a victim of your mental or emotional states. You are an alchemist with the power to turn up the thermometer of your own consciousness. The art of mental transmutation is the art of deliberately changing your position on the vibrational scale of any experience. The spectrum of courage transmuting fear. Fear and courage seem like irreconcilable opposites. You are either brave or you are fearful. But this is an illusion. Fear and courage are not two different things. They are two poles of the same spectrum. Your relationship with a perceived threat. Fear is the lower end of the scale. It is the degree where your perception of the threat is far greater than your perception of your resources. It is a vibration of contraction. Courage is the upper end. It is not the absence of fear. True courage is feeling the fear but consciously choosing to focus on your resources and strength. It is a vibration of expansion and power. The transmutation of fear into courage is not achieved by fighting fear. That only creates more tension. It is achieved by adding heat, deliberately withdrawing your attention from catastrophic images and focusing it on empowering images of success. You are literally turning up the thermometer of your inner state, the spectrum of success, transmuting failure. In our culture, failure and success are seen as two completely separate destinations. The principle of polarity shows us that this too is an illusion. Failure and success are not opposites. They are 2 points on the same continuum, the spectrum of experience and learning. Failure is the 0 degree of the scale. It's an outcome that didn't align with your initial intention. The untrained mind labels it as bad and sees it as proof of its own inadequacy. It is a vibration of judgment and stagnation. Success is a higher degree on the same scale. It is an outcome that did align with your intention. The transmutation of failure into success is the secret of every great entrepreneur. They understand that failure is not the end of the road, it is the road. Every failure is simply a piece of data. The mental alchemist takes the lead of the lesson and uses it to refine their next attempt. They have not erased the failure. They have transmuted it into a stepping stone toward success. The spectrum of abundance. Transmuting scarcity. Scarcity and abundance are not objective conditions of the world. They are 2 poles of the same thing. The spectrum of consciousness. Scarcity is the vibration of a mind focused on lack. It is the degree of perception that constantly scans the world for what is missing. Abundance is the vibration of a mind focused on fullness. It is the degree of perception that, regardless of external circumstances, focuses on what it does have. The universe, like a mirror, reflects your degree on the scale. If you emit scarcity, it reflects scarcity. If you emit abundance, it reflects abundance. The transmutation of scarcity into abundance is achieved through a deliberate change of mental polarity. It is achieved by withdrawing your attention from the thought, "I don't have enough," and anchoring it, with discipline, in the emotion of gratitude for what you do have, however small it may be. Every act of gratitude is an act of alchemy that raises your position on the thermometer of prosperity, the art of mental transmutation. The mechanism for changing your polarity, for turning up the thermometer, is always the same. It is based on the conscious use of the powers we have explored. The fundamental principle is that you cannot eliminate a mental state by force. You can only replace it. Transmutation is the art of substitution. First, use your consciousness to identify what pole you are on. Second, use your will to decide to change your polarity. Third, use your attention to deliberately withdraw energy from the negative pole. And fourth, use your imagination and emotion to focus on and feel the vibration of the positive pole, as if it were already your reality. This is the work of the alchemist. Practice. The alchemist's laboratory. Exercise 1. The Polarity Journal. This practice trains you to see the spectrum in your daily life. Choose a negative polarity you're struggling with. In your journal, describe this negative pole in detail. Now on a new page, describe its opposite positive pole just as vividly. For example, instead of fear, describe what absolute courage would look, feel, and sound like. This exercise defines the 2 ends of your personal thermometer. Exercise 2. The Alchemical Thermometer Meditation. This is a visualization to practice real-time transmutation. Sit in silence. Close your eyes. Connect with the negative emotion you want to transmute. Feel the cold of fear or scarcity in your body. Now, imagine a thermometer in your chest. See the mercury at the bottom. With your intention, apply a gentle fire to the base of the thermometer. As you hold the positive image and generate the emotion of the positive pole, watch the mercury of light in your chest rise slowly. Feel the contraction dissolve. Stay in that feeling of warmth and expansion until the thermometer shows the highest degree. This is a direct practice of vibrational alchemy. Ejercicio 3. Transmutation through action. The fastest way to solidify a change in polarity is through physical action. Choose a very small action that a person on the positive pole of your spectrum would do, but that a person on the negative pole would avoid. For example, if your spectrum is fear-courage, a small action of courage could be making that phone call you've been postponing. If your spectrum is scarcity-abundance, a small action of abundance could be leaving a more generous tip than usual, feeling that you have plenty to spare. The act of physically embodying the positive pole's vibration sends the most powerful signal of all to your subconscious. This is who I am now. The universe is not a set of opposites at war. It is an infinite spectrum of possibilities. You are not condemned to live at the cold, dark end of any experience. You are an alchemist, and your consciousness is the sacred flame that has the power to raise the vibration of your being, to transmute lead into gold, fear into courage, and failure into the wisdom of the master. Chapter 5. The Principle of Rhythm, the Pendulum of Life. The ancient Hermetic axiom describes it with poetic precision. Everything flows out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall. The swing of the pendulum manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. This is not a simple metaphor. It is one of the most fundamental and observable laws of existence. The entire universe dances to a relentless rhythm. There is a rhythm in the orbit of planets, in the change of seasons, in the rise and fall of tides. There is a rhythm in your own body, inhalation and exhalation, the cycle of sleep and wakefulness. Everything is subject to this oscillation, this pendulum swing. Prosperity and crisis, the rise and fall of civilizations, and even your own moods and creativity. There is no such thing as linear, uninterrupted growth. Life is not a straight line, it is a wave. Understanding this truth is the first step to freeing yourself from an immense amount of suffering. Because most of our anxiety and frustration are born from our two great errors in managing this universal rhythm. The first great error, resistance to the low tide. When the pendulum of our life swings to the negative side, when we face a financial setback or a period of low energy, our untrained mind panics. It interprets this low tide, this winter of the soul, as a permanent and catastrophic state. It believes the sun will not rise again. And so, we start to fight. We resist rest when we are exhausted, trying to force productivity. We punish ourselves for feeling sad. This resistance does not stop the low tide. In fact, it makes the experience infinitely more painful. It's like trying to swim against a strong current. This resistance is suffering. The second great error, attachment to the high tide. The second error is more subtle but just as destructive. It happens when the pendulum swings to the positive side. We experience great success or a surge of creativity. We are on the crest of the wave, in the summer of our lives. And the ego, in its need for permanence, becomes attached. This is me, it says. I am successful. And the moment it becomes attached, fear is born. A subtle but persistent fear that this state will end. We start living with the anxiety of losing what we have gained. This attachment robs us of the joy of the present moment. We stop enjoying the crest of the wave because we are obsessed with the idea that it will inevitably fall. It also leads to burnout. We try to maintain a summer level of energy indefinitely, ignoring the signs that tell us to rest. The art of the master navigator, the law of neutralization. So, are we condemned to be puppets of this cosmic pendulum? No. The ancient masters taught that a practitioner can learn to use the principle of rhythm to their advantage. They taught the art of neutralization. Neutralization is not about stopping the pendulum. That's impossible. Neutralization is an act of mental mastery. It's about elevating your consciousness to the pendulum's point of suspension. That point of stillness is your observer consciousness, your true self. The master learns to polarize themselves in this point, in their I am, and to observe the swing of the pendulum without being swept away by it. They know that the waves come and go, but they are not the wave, they are the ocean. This mastery is achieved through two conscious strategies. The strategy for the soul's winter, the low tide. When you notice the pendulum swinging toward a cycle of low energy, instead of resisting, surrender to the rhythm. Recognize and name. The first step is awareness. Say to yourself, I am entering a low tide cycle. This is normal. It is part of the rhythm. It is not permanent. Surrender to rest. Give your body and soul what they are asking for. Allow yourself to rest more. This is not laziness. It's an act of strategic wisdom. Find the gift of winter. Every winter has a sacred purpose, gestation. It is the perfect time to nurture your roots, to read and reflect. It is in the stillness of winter that the seeds are born that will blossom in the next spring. The strategy for the soul's summer, the high tide. When the pendulum swings toward a cycle of success and joy, instead of clinging with fear, practice detached presence. Enjoy with presence. Immerse yourself in the joy of the moment. Feel gratitude. Celebrate your achievements. Don't let fear of the future steal the beauty of the present. Prepare for autumn. The wise farmer in the midst of a summer harvest doesn't eat everything. They store grain for winter. In the same way, save a portion of your resources, money, energy. Document the systems that led to your success. Stay humble. Constantly remind yourself of the truth of impermanence. This too shall pass. This awareness doesn't diminish your joy, it makes it more precious. Practice the mariner of inner tides. Exercise 1, the rhythm journal. To become a master of your rhythms, you must first know them. For 1 full month, keep a daily log of your internal cycles. At the end of each day, rate from 5 to +5 these 3 areas: physical energy, creative energy, and emotional state. At the end of the month, look at the graph you have created. Do you see patterns? This log is your personal navigation chart. Exercise 2, the permission for winter. This is your practice for resisting low tides. The next time you're in a low cycle, unmotivated, sad, instead of fighting it, do the opposite. Take your journal and write yourself an official permission slip. Write, I, your name, give myself unconditional permission to be in a winter cycle. I release all expectations of being productive. My only task is to rest and trust in the process of my own renewal. Read this permission aloud. You will feel an immense release. It is the act of letting the tide carry you gently to the shore of rest. Ejercicio 3, the summer harvest. This is your practice for attachment to the high tide. When you are in the midst of a period of great success, pause. Enjoy it. Feel the gratitude. Then dedicate 30 minutes to being the wise farmer. Ask yourself, how can I use the abundance of this summer to prepare for my winter? The answer could be, create an automatic savings plan. Document the systems that led to your success, or schedule a vacation. This prepares you with grace for the inevitable phase of harvest and rest that will follow. Life is not a straight line. It is a symphony of rhythms. Suffering is born from trying to play a summer note in the middle of winter. Mastery is found in learning to dance with the music of each season, trusting that every low tide is the sacred promise of a high tide to come. Chapter 6. The Principle of Cause and Effect. The Art of Sowing and Reaping. We have reached the most exact, relentless, yet just and empowering law of all. It is the operating system of the cosmos, the great loom on which destiny is woven. It is the 6th and most crucial of the hidden principles, the principle of cause and effect. The ancient axiom declares with inescapable certainty, every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause, everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causality, but nothing escapes the law. Let's pause on this profound declaration, because it completely annihilates one of the greatest illusions that keeps us in the role of victims, the illusion of chance. Our untrained mind sees the world as a casino. It attributes its triumphs to good luck and its misfortunes to bad luck. This belief in chance is the soul's sedative. It absolves us of all responsibility and dooms us to a life of powerlessness. The forbidden metaphysics reveals the truth. The universe is not a casino. It is a garden. And in a garden, nothing happens by chance. The harvest you reap in autumn is the direct and inevitable effect of the seed you planted in spring. There are no exceptions. This is the true law of karma, stripped of all its superstitious connotations. It is a law of the physics of consciousness, as impersonal and precise as the law of gravity. The understanding of this law is the end of victimization and the beginning of sovereignty. You realize that if you don't like the harvest you are reaping, you should not curse the heavens. You must, with radical honesty, examine the seeds you have been sowing. To become a master gardener, you must understand that you sow causes on 3 great planes of existence. The first plane of causality thought. Every creation, as we know from the principle of mentalism, begins on the plane of thought. Every habitual and sustained thought you hold in your mind is a cause, an architectural blueprint you give to the universal substance. Imagine two people starting a business. The first operates from a thought plane of confidence. Their thoughts are, "My product will improve lives. I trust my ability to solve challenges. Success is the natural result of adding value." This thought pattern is a powerful cause, a detailed blueprint for a prosperous business. The second person operates from a thought plane of fear. Their thoughts are, "The market is saturated. What if I fail? It's too hard to get customers." This is also a cause, but a blueprint for failure. The final outcome will not be a product of luck, but the inevitable effect of the mental cause each one chose to sow. Your thoughts are not innocent. They are prophecies. The second plane of causality, the word. If a thought is the blueprint, the word, spoken or written, is the act of formalizing it, of giving it a denser structure. A word is a thought that has been crystallized. Each word you utter is a decree. When you constantly speak of your illnesses, you are sowing the cause of poor health. When you complain, you are sowing the cause of frustration. When you gossip, you are sowing a karmic cause of a terrifying precision, emitting an energy of judgment that must by law return to you. Conversely, each time you use your word creatively, you are sowing causes of power. When you speak of your goals with passionate conviction, you are watering the seeds of their manifestation. When you use your words to bless others, you are creating a field of high vibration energy that attracts similarly blessed circumstances. Your word is your magic wand. The choice is always yours. The third plane of causality, action. This is the most obvious plane. We all understand that our actions have consequences. But metaphysics teaches us to look deeper. It's not just the action itself that is the cause. It is the intention and emotion that permeate that action. Two people can perform the same external action, but if the inner cause is different, the effect they reap will be radically different. Imagine two people donating money to charity. The first donates from a place of compassion. The inner cause is love and abundance. The effect will be an increase in their own sense of fullness. The second person donates for ego, for recognition. The inner cause is calculation and vanity. The effect will be superficial, a brief boost to their ego, but it will not create a true resonance with abundance. Life does not respond to the mechanics of your actions. It responds to the music of your heart, the art of the master, rising to a higher causal plane. The axiom tells us that nothing escapes the law. This holds the secret to freeing ourselves from the negative effects of our past. You can't break the law. You cannot avoid reaping what you have sown. But you can rise to a higher causal plane. You can, in this present moment, begin to consciously sow new causes of a higher order. Although your external reality may be one of scarcity, you can start planting seeds of abundance. You can use your word to decree your prosperity. You can take small actions of generosity. These new, powerful causes will begin to generate new effects. And over time, the new harvest will drown out and replace the old weeds of scarcity. This is the true meaning of redemption. It is not the annulment of the law, but the wise use of a higher law to transcend a lower one. Practice the Gardener of Destiny. Exercise 1, the Harvest Audit. This is a karmic diagnostic exercise. Choose a main effect in your life that you are not satisfied with. Now become a detective and work backward. In your journal, answer this chain of questions. The effect. Describe the current situation. The actions. What actions of mine contributed to this? The words. What has been my habitual inner dialogue? The root thought. What is the fundamental belief that is the original seed of this? This exercise forces you to take radical responsibility and shows you exactly where to start sowing new seeds. Ejercicio 2. The ritual of deliberate sowing. This is your daily practice to become a conscious cause. Every morning, as part of your ritual, you will consciously plant your 3 seeds for the day. The thought seed. Choose an empowering belief. I am a magnet for opportunities. The word seed. Write and read aloud a decree that anchors that belief. The action seed. Define a small, concrete action you will take that day that is in perfect alignment with your decree. By aligning your 3 planes of causality, you become an unstoppable creative force. Ejercicio 3. The neutralization meditation. This is a visualization to neutralize the negative effects of your past. Sit in silence. Bring the unwanted effect to mind. Visualize it as a dark, dense cloud. Now visualize yourself rising to a higher plane of consciousness. From this higher plane, start radiating a new causal energy toward the dark cloud. Radiate the energy of forgiveness, abundance, love. Watch how this high-frequency light begins to dissolve the cloud's dense energy, not through struggle, but through transmutation. This practice trains your mind to stop feeling trapped by the past and to assume its power as the creator of the present. You are not a leaf in the wind of chance. You are the gardener in the field of law. Every thought, word, and action is a seed you sow. You cannot escape the harvest, but you have the absolute and sovereign power to choose the seeds. Chapter 7. The Gender Principle, the Sacred Dance of Creation. The ancient axiom describes it with poetic precision. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The swing of the pendulum manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm Kyowanem pensates. This is not a simple metaphor. It is one of the most fundamental and observable laws of existence. The entire universe dances to a relentless rhythm. There is a rhythm in the orbit of planets, in the change of seasons on Earth. There is a rhythm in your own body. The inhalation and exhalation of your breath. The cycle of life itself. Birth, growth, decline, and death, which in turn gives way to a new birth. Everything is subject to this oscillation, this pendular movement. There is no such thing as linear, uninterrupted growth. Life is not a straight line. It is a wave. Understanding and accepting this truth is the first step to freeing yourself from an immense amount of suffering. Because most of our anxiety and frustration are born from our two great errors in managing this universal rhythm. The first great error, resistance to the low tide. When the pendulum of our life swings to the negative side, when we face a financial setback or a period of low creative energy, our untrained mind panics. It interprets this low tide as a permanent and catastrophic state. It believes the sun will not rise again. And so, we start to fight. We resist rest when we are exhausted. This resistance does not stop the low tide. In fact, it makes the experience infinitely more painful. It's like trying to swim with all your might against a strong current. Not only do you not move forward, but you become completely exhausted, making your stay at the low point of the cycle longer and harder. Resistance to the low tide is suffering. The second great error, attachment to the high tide. The second error is more subtle but just as destructive. It occurs when the pendulum swings to the positive side. We experience great success or a new, wonderful relationship. We are on the crest of the wave, in the summer of our life, and the ego, in its need for permanence, becomes attached. This is me, it says. I am successful. And the moment it becomes attached, fear is born. A subtle but persistent fear that this state will end. This attachment robs us of the joy of the present moment. We stop enjoying the crest of the wave because we are obsessed with the idea that it will inevitably go down. It also leads to exhaustion. We try to maintain a summer level of energy and productivity indefinitely, which can only end in a collapse. The art of the master navigator, the law of neutralization. So are we condemned to be puppets of this cosmic pendulum? No. The ancient masters taught that a practitioner can learn to use the principle of rhythm to their advantage. They taught the art of neutralization. Neutralization is not about stopping the pendulum. That is impossible. Neutralization is an act of mental mastery. It consists of elevating your consciousness to the pendulum's point of suspension. Imagine the pendulum. It swings from side to side, but the point from which it hangs remains still. That point of stillness is your observer consciousness, your true self. The master learns to polarize themselves at this point, and to observe the oscillation of the pendulum without being swept away by it. They know that the waves come and go, but they are not the wave, they are the ocean. This mastery is achieved through two conscious strategies. The strategy for the soul's winter, the low tide. When you notice the pendulum swinging toward a cycle of low energy or sadness, instead of resisting, surrender to the rhythm. Recognize and name. The first step is awareness. Say to yourself, I am entering a low tide cycle. This is normal. It is not permanent. Naming the cycle takes away the fear. Surrender to rest. Give your body and soul what they are asking for. Allow yourself to rest more. This is not an act of laziness. It is an act of strategic wisdom. Find the gift of winter. Every winter has a sacred purpose. Gestation. It is the time to go inward, to read, and to integrate the lessons of the previous cycle. It is in the stillness of winter that the seeds that will blossom in the next spring are born. The strategy for the soul's summer, the high tide. When the pendulum swings toward a cycle of success and joy, instead of clinging with fear, practice detached presence. Enjoy with presence. Fully immerse yourself in the joy of the moment. Feel gratitude. Celebrate your achievements. Don't let fear of the future steal the beauty of the present. Prepare for autumn. The wise farmer in the midst of a summer harvest saves a portion for winter. In the same way, when you're in a cycle of abundance, save a portion of your resources, money, energy. Document the systems that led to your success. Stay humble. Constantly remind yourself of the truth of impermanence. This too shall pass. This awareness doesn't diminish your joy, it makes it more precious. Practice the mariner of inner tides. Exercise 1, the rhythm journal. To become a master of your rhythms, you must first know them. For 1 full month, keep a daily log of your internal cycles. At the end of each day, rate from 5, very low, to +5, very high, these 3 areas: physical energy, creative energy, and emotional state. At the end of the month, look at the graph you have created. Do you see patterns? This log is your personal navigation chart. Exercise 2, the permission for winter. This is your practice for resistance to the low tide. The next time you're in a low cycle, unmotivated, sad, instead of fighting it, do the opposite. Take your journal and write yourself an official permission slip. Write, I, your name, give myself unconditional permission to be in a winter cycle. I release all expectations of being productive or happy. My only task is to rest and trust in my renewal. Read this permission aloud. You will feel an immense release. It is the act of letting the tide carry you gently to the shore of rest. Ejercicio 3, the summer harvest. This is your practice for attachment to the high tide. When you are in the midst of a period of great success, pause. Enjoy it. Feel the gratitude. Then dedicate 30 minutes to being the wise farmer. Ask yourself, how can I use the abundance of this summer to prepare for my winter? The answer could be, create an automatic savings plan. Document the processes that led to your success. Or schedule a vacation. This prepares you with grace for the inevitable phase of harvest and rest that will follow. Life is not a straight line. It is a symphony of rhythms. Suffering is born from trying to play a summer note in the middle of winter. Mastery is found in learning to dance with the music of each season, trusting that every low tide is the sacred promise of a high tide to come. Chapter 8. The Alchemist's Workshop. The Great Work of Manifestation. Now we stop being students of the laws and become practitioners. We enter the alchemist's workshop and prepare to perform the great work, the art and science of conscious manifestation. First, we must redefine this charged word. Manifestation, in the context of forbidden metaphysics, is not the egoic act of getting things. It is the sacred process of making the invisible visible. It is the process by which the universe expands and experiences itself. You are not a beggar asking the universe. You are a channel through which the universe seeks to express itself. What follows is not a collection of isolated techniques. It is a holistic system, a ritual of creation that deliberately aligns the 7 universal principles in a single coherent act. This ritual is your work as an alchemist, taking the raw material of potentiality and, through the fire of your consciousness, transmuting it into the gold of experience. Part 1. Preparing the workshop. An alchemist never begins the great work without first preparing their laboratory. The success of the transmutation depends on the purity and preparation of the crucible and the elements. Your being is the laboratory. Your consciousness is the crucible. 1. The clarity of intention, alignment with mentalism. The first step is to know with absolute clarity what you choose to create. A mental universe responds to precise mental blueprints, but this clarity goes beyond the superficial. You must learn to distinguish between the desires of the ego and the longings of the soul. An ego desire is born from lack, comparison, or fear. It seeks to fix the inside by manipulating the outside. A soul's longing is born from fullness and expansion. It's not about getting, it's about expressing. Before any ritual, meditate on your desire. Ask, is this intention born of fear or love? Does it seek to fill a void or express a fullness? Choose an intention that makes your soul sing. Then define it precisely. Not I want more money, but I am so happy and grateful now that I am generating $10,000 a month in a way that fulfills me and serves others. This specificity gives your subconscious a clear blueprint to work on. 2. The cleansing of the crucible. Alignment with correspondence and cause-effect. Your state of being is the crucible where alchemy will occur. If your crucible is dirty with the residue of old beliefs, it will contaminate any new creation. The principle of correspondence dictates that the inside must be clean for the outside to be so. Cleansing the crucible is the act of identifying and neutralizing beliefs that contradict your intention. If your intention is to manifest a loving relationship, but your subconscious belief is, love always ends in pain, you are mixing oil and water. The stronger, older belief will win. Before your ritual, perform a brief belief cleansing. Sit in silence and ask your inner self, is there any part of me that believes this isn't possible or that I don't deserve it? Thank the limiting belief for trying to protect you. Then declare, I recognize this old belief, but today I choose to install a new truth. This simple act weakens the old program's power. 3. The tuning of energy, alignment with vibration. Finally, you must tune your own energy to the frequency of the reality you want to create. You cannot create joy from despair. You must elevate your vibration before the creative act. The fastest way is through gratitude. Dedicate 5 minutes to feeling genuine gratitude for everything you already have. Gratitude is the frequency of reception. It tells the universe, I am already in a state of abundance and ready to receive more. The goal is to enter the workshop not as a tired laborer, but as an inspired master, with your energy vibrating in a state of calm, possibility, and power. Part 2. The 7-step creation ritual. This is the heart of the great work. A ritual you can practice daily or weekly. Each step activates one of the 7 universal principles in a synergistic sequence. Step 1. The declaration, activating mentalism. The ritual begins with the mind's power to create the blueprint. In your journal, write your intention not as a future desire, but as a present, using the formula, I am so happy and grateful now that... Be specific and sensory. I am so happy and grateful now that I am holding my new published book in my hands, feeling the weight of the paper and smelling the fresh ink. Read the phrase aloud. This is not a plea, it is a decree. You are declaring the existence of a new reality. This is the first act of creation. Step 2. The anchoring, activating correspondence. Now you must make your inner world correspond to that declaration. You must embody the new reality. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, how does the person who already lives this reality feel in their body? Feel the change in your physiology. What is their posture like? How is their breathing? Adopt that physiology now. Straighten your back, relax your shoulders, breathe deeply. You are using your body to anchor the new reality in your own biology. Step 3. The emission, activating vibration. With the blueprint declared and the body anchored, it's time to fire up the creation engine. Generate the emotion of your wish fulfilled. Don't just think about gratitude. Be gratitude. Use your imagination. Immerse yourself in the final scene. Feel the pride of seeing your book on the shelf. Let this emotion intensify. Feel it radiate from your heart. This is the clear, potent, and coherent signal you are emitting to the universe. Step 4. The acceptance of the shadow, activating polarity. When you emit a bright light, a shadow is cast. As you feel the joy of success, a voice of doubt may arise. The beginner fights this shadow. The alchemist invites it to the dance. Recognize the doubt. Look at it. And instead of resisting, transmute it. Say inwardly, I see you, doubt. I understand you are here to protect me from the possible pain of failure. Thank you for showing me. I include you in my joy. By doing this, you prevent the negative polarity from sabotaging you. You strip it of its power by including it, by accepting that light and shadow are two sides of the same coin in the creative process. Step 5. Trust in the process, activating rhythm. Now you must let go. You must trust the cycles and divine timing. Visualize the seed of your intention, now charged with emotion, being planted in the dark, fertile garden of your subconscious. Then, let go. Release your attachment to when and how it will manifest. Forcing the outcome is an act of mistrust. Affirm, I trust the perfect rhythm of life. My desire will manifest in the perfect moment and in the perfect way for the good of all. This is the act of surrender. Step 6. The blessing, activating cause and effect. So a positive cause that harmonizes with your desire. End your ritual with a mental act of generosity. Wish for others the same success, joy, and healing that you wish for yourself. Think of your friends, your family, even your competitors, and from your heart, send them a blessing. May all beings be happy, prosperous, and at peace. By doing this, you align with the law of you reap what you sow. By sowing the cause of prosperity for others, you create an effect that inevitably returns to you. Step 7. The integration, activating gender. Conclude the dance by uniting the feminine energy of receptivity and faith with a masculine intention for action. After your ritual, ask yourself, what is the next inspired and obvious step I can take today to move in the direction of my vision? Don't look for a 10-step plan. Look for the first, simplest action. Commit to performing that small, inspired action during the day. This is the act of birth, the masculine impulse that brings the gestated creation from the inner world of intention to the world of form. Practice, the great work in your everyday life. Exercise 1, your personalized ritual. The script above is a template. Now, make it your own. In your journal, design your own 15 to 20-minute ritual. What music helps you tune in? What declaration resonates most with your being? What act of blessing feels most authentic? Personalize it. A ritual born from your own creativity will always be more powerful. Decide how often you will perform it, daily or perhaps once a week on Sundays to set the intention for the week. Exercise 2. The Manifestation Journal. This journal will help you track the process and strengthen your faith. Create 4 columns: intention and date, inspired actions, echoes and signs, and manifestation. Record your intention and the small actions you were inspired to take. Note the synchronicities and messages you begin to see. This journal will become your personal book of evidence, proving again and again that the law works. Manifestation is not a trick to get things. It is the sacred process of aligning your being with the laws of the universe to become a channel through which infinite intelligence can express itself. You are the alchemist in your laboratory, and the great work is your own magnificent life. Chapter 9. Abundance. Applying the 7 principles. Before we begin, we must perform a fundamental cleansing. We must separate 2 concepts that our culture has mistakenly fused: money and abundance. Money is a symbol, a tool, a form of condensed energy. Abundance, in contrast, is a state of being. It is a consciousness. It is the deep conviction that you live in an infinitely generous universe and that you are an open channel for that flow. You can have a lot of money and live in a poverty consciousness, terrified of losing it. And you can have little money at a given moment, but dwell in an abundance consciousness, with an unbreakable faith that you will always have everything you need. The fatal mistake is to chase the symbol, money, instead of cultivating the state, abundance. When you cultivate the inner state, the outer symbol must, by law, manifest. The first truth the initiated must accept is that scarcity is an illusion. It is a collective hypnosis, a mental virus. Look at nature. It does not know scarcity. A single oak produces thousands of acorns. The sun radiates energy that exceeds our planet's needs by millions of times. The universe is extravagantly abundant. Scarcity is not a law of the cosmos. It is a program running in the human mind. This chapter is your uninstallation manual for the scarcity program. We will apply the 7 universal principles one by one to the creation of a life of true and sustainable prosperity. 1. Abundance and the principle of mentalism. As you know, the universe is mind. Your reality is a projection of your dominant thoughts. Your financial situation is no exception. It is the clearest reflection of your mental blueprint. Poverty consciousness is built on a mental blueprint of limitation. The thoughts that sustain it are, there isn't enough. I can't afford it. It's too hard. These thoughts held persistently are clear commands you give to the universe. They are the blueprint for a small, dilapidated house, and life, as the faithful builder, builds it for you. Wealth consciousness is built on a mental blueprint of possibility. Its thoughts are, I live in an abundant universe. I always have more than enough. Money flows to me with ease and grace. The first step to healing your prosperity is a deliberate act of mental decision. It is the act of saying, from today, I refuse to continue drawing the blueprint of scarcity. I choose consciously to dedicate my mental energy to designing the blueprint of abundance. You must become the guardian of your mind. 2. Abundance and the principle of correspondence. As within, so without. This principle teaches you that your bank account is a mirror of your feeling of deserving. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you deserve. You can use all the affirmations in the world, but if deep in your subconscious there resides the belief that, I'm not good enough, you will unconsciously sabotage every opportunity. Your inner world of self-worth corresponds directly to your outer world of net worth. The alchemical work here is deep. It's not about thinking about money. It's about healing your relationship with yourself. Every act of self-love you perform, every time you forgive yourself, you are polishing the inner mirror. When you truly feel that you are worthy of the best that life has to offer, the mirror of the universe has no choice but to reflect that new truth. People will start to treat you with more respect, and money will begin to flow to you, not because you are chasing it, but because your new internal correspondence demands it. 3. Abundance and the principle of vibration. Abundance is a frequency. Scarcity is another. You cannot tune your radio to the frequency of fear and expect to hear the music of prosperity. The vibration of scarcity feels like contraction. It is anxiety, worry, envy. When you worry about bills, you are emitting the frequency of scarcity. The vibration of abundance feels like expansion. It is gratitude, joy, and confidence. To attract abundance, you must learn to emit its frequency deliberately before the external evidence appears. The universe doesn't give you wealth so you can be grateful. It waits for you to be grateful to give you wealth. The practice of gratitude is the most powerful tuning tool you possess. Feeling genuine gratitude for what you already have, no matter how small, instantly pulls you out of the scarcity vibration and places you in that of abundance. From that new frequency, you begin to attract more things to be grateful for. 4. Abundance and the principle of polarity. Everything has its opposite. Scarcity and abundance are not two separate realities. They are two poles of the same scale. The same goes for failure and success. The master understands that failure is not a death sentence. It is the negative pole that contains the seed and the lesson of success. Many of the wealthiest entrepreneurs experienced bankruptcy before achieving massive success. They didn't see bankruptcy as the end. They saw it as an invaluable lesson. They used the energy of that failure to transmute it. They asked themselves, what is the gold here? What did this failure teach me about risk, the market, and myself? By extracting the wisdom, they elevated their consciousness to a new degree on the scale. And from that new degree, they were able to create success that was much more solid because it was built on the foundations of an apparent defeat. Don't run from your financial failures. Look at them and ask, what is the gold hidden in this lead? 5. Abundance and the principle of rhythm. Prosperity, like everything in the universe, flows in cycles. There are high tides and low tides. There are springs of sowing, summers of growth, and winters of rest. The untrained mind panics during financial winters. It interprets it as a permanent failure. The master of rhythm understands that winter is a natural part of the cycle. They don't resist it. They use it. It is the time to go inward, to nourish the roots, to plan. They know that after winter, spring is inevitable. Similarly, during the summer of abundance, they save, invest, and build systems that will sustain them during the next low tide. Navigating the rhythm of abundance is the art of being prudent in success and maintaining faith in difficulty. 6. Abundance and the principle of cause and effect. You reap what you sow. This is the iron law of prosperity. Money is not something you get, it is an effect. If you want the effect, you must first sow the cause. And what is the cause of true wealth? The cause is one thing: to provide value. Poverty consciousness focuses on getting money. It asks, how can I get something from the world? Wealth consciousness focuses on creating value. It asks, what unique value can I offer the world? Money is simply the symbol of the value you have created. If you want to increase the effect, more money, don't focus on the effect. Focus on increasing the cause, more value. How can you serve more people? How can you solve a bigger problem? When you obsess over providing value, money must, by law, follow you. You are not chasing it, you are attracting it as the natural consequence of the cause you have sown. 7. Abundance and the principle of gender. The creation of wealth, like all creation, requires a balanced dance between masculine and feminine energies. The masculine energy of prosperity is action. It is setting financial goals, creating a budget, negotiating, and selling. It is the energy of making things happen. The feminine energy of prosperity is receptivity. It is the ability to receive. And this is a point where many people block their abundance. They feel guilty about receiving money. They are ashamed to charge what they are worth. They find it difficult to accept a gift. Their ability to give is strong, but their ability to receive is atrophied. The universe is a flow system. If you block reception, you block the entire circuit. Abundance cannot enter a hand that is closed in a fist of unworthiness. The alchemical balance is to be both a proactive creator, masculine, and a grateful and open receiver, feminine. You give with joy and you receive the reward with a guilt-free gratitude. Practice. The Prosperous Alchemist's Workshop. Exercise 1. The audit of your financial blueprint. This is an archaeology exercise for your beliefs about money. Take your journal. Write the answers to these questions. What is my first memory of money? What phrases about money were repeated in my home when I was a child? What did my culture teach me about rich people? How does my body feel when I think about having a large sum of money? How do I feel when I have to pay a large bill? This diagnosis will reveal the subconscious blueprint that has been creating your financial reality. Exercise 2. The 30-day wealth ritual. Consistency is key. I propose a 30-day intensive reprogramming program. In the morning, 10 minutes. Gratitude. Write 5 financial things you're grateful for now. Declaration. Read your prosperity affirmation aloud. Visualization. Dedicate 5 minutes to your mental movie of an abundant life, feeling the emotion of freedom. During the day, cause and effect. Ask, what small action can I take today to provide more value? And do it. Polarity. If you face a financial setback, look for the golden lesson. At night. Gender, feminine. Review your day and acknowledge at least one way abundance came to you, and practice receiving it with gratitude. Abundance is not a sum of money. It is your natural state. It is the recognition that you live in a generous universe and that you are a worthy and open channel for its expression. Stop chasing money. Align yourself with these 7 principles. Become an embodiment of wealth consciousness and money will chase you. Chapter 10. Living in Harmony. The Mastery of Principles. Welcome to the final phase of the great work, the stage of mastery, where you stop using the principles and become a living manifestation of them. Welcome to the state of living in harmony. Living in harmony is the dissolution of the gap between practice and presence. It's the moment you no longer need to remember to apply the principles because they have become your default operating system. The struggle ceases. The effort to be spiritual or be a conscious creator vanishes, and in its place an effortless grace emerges, a fluid dance with the cosmos. To understand this state of mastery, we will revisit each of the 7 principles, not as lessons to be learned, but as facets of a diamond that is now you. We will explore what a life lived in harmony with the all looks and feels like. 1. Living in mentalism, the silent guardian. The beginner learns that the universe is mind. The master experiences this truth in every instant. For you now, your thoughts are no longer random chatter. You are aware that each sustained thought is an act of creation. Living in mentalism is becoming the silent, serene guardian of your own mind. You no longer fight negative thoughts in a panic. You watch them with the calm of a wise gardener who sees a weed appear. You recognize it for what it is, an old pattern, and with a gentle act of will pull it out and choose to plant a more elevated thought in its place. Your inner dialogue transforms. Self-criticism dissolves into self-compassion. Worry is replaced by a quiet faith in your ability to create. You realize that your mind is not your enemy. It is your most sacred workshop. You dedicate yourself to keeping it clean, knowing that the order of your workshop will determine the order of the world you build. 2. Living in correspondence, the mirror as a friend. The beginner is astonished and sometimes scared to discover that, as within, so without. The master has made this law their most intimate ally. Living in correspondence is to stop seeing the world as an external force and start seeing it as your instant biography, the perfect reflection of your state of being. You are no longer a victim of the reflection. You are a fascinated student of it. When you encounter a difficult person, your automatic reaction is no longer irritation. It is curiosity. You ask yourself, what part of me is this person reflecting? Conflict ceases to be an attack and becomes an opportunity for self-knowledge. The difficult person, without knowing it, becomes your guru. When you experience a setback, you no longer see it as a punishment. You see it as a precise diagnosis. Life is telling you, the image you are holding internally has produced this result. Want a different result? Change the image. Living in correspondence is living in a constant loving dialogue with reality. You stop trying to clean the mirror and dedicate yourself completely to cleaning your own face. 3. Living in vibration. The master musician. The beginner learns that everything is vibration. The master becomes the musician. Living in vibration is to develop an exquisite sensitivity to your own emotional state, recognizing it as the fundamental note you are emitting to the universe. You are aware, moment by moment, of the music of your soul. You are no longer swept away by your moods like a leaf in the wind. You become the conscious tuner of your own instrument. When you feel you're being vibrating with a low note of fear, you no longer panic. You simply recognize that you are out of tune, and you apply, with the calm of an experienced musician, the tools you know. You use the power of gratitude, the anchor of a happy memory, or the beauty of nature to gently retune the string to the frequency of peace or love. You become selective with the concert halls you play in. You avoid low-vibration environments not out of fear, but because you are aware that external dissonance can affect the harmony of your inner instrument. You seek resonance. You seek out other people who vibrate at a similar frequency of growth. Your life becomes an increasingly harmonious symphony, not because the world has stopped being noisy, but because you have become a master of music. 4. Living in polarity. The balanced alchemist. The beginner learns that opposites are two sides of the same coin. The master lives in the center of the coin, at the point of balance. Living in polarity is to transcend the ego's dualistic judgment that labels experiences as good or bad. You understand that failure and success, pain and joy, light and shadow are simply different degrees on a single scale. When you face a negative situation, your automatic response is no longer despair. It is alchemical curiosity. Your first question is, where is the gold here? You know with unshakable certainty that within every crisis lies the seed of an equivalent opportunity. Within every failure, the lesson for greater success. Within every fear, the door to a deeper courage. You no longer seek a life of pure pleasure and success. You understand that would be like a magnet with only one pole, an impossibility. Instead, you seek a life of totality. You embrace the full spectrum of human experience, knowing you have the power to transmute any energy. Lead no longer frightens you, because you have become an expert at turning it into gold. 5. Living in rhythm, the cosmic surfer. The beginner resists the tides of life. They fight against the winters and cling to the summers. The master has learned to surf. Living in rhythm is the art of intelligent surrender. It is the deep understanding that life operates in cycles, and that wisdom doesn't lie in forcing constant growth, but in aligning with the energy of the present season. In your springs of new inspiration, you act with boldness. In your summers of high energy, you work with sustained focus. In your autumns of culmination, you harvest your fruits with gratitude, and, most importantly, you let go of dead leaves, projects, and relationships that have completed their cycle. And in your winters of apparent inactivity, you surrender to rest without guilt. You know this isn't lost time. It is your sacred period of gestation, where you nourish your roots and accumulate energy for the next spring. You stop living by the ego's linear clock, which always demands more now, and you start living by the soul's circular time, which understands that there is a time for everything. 6. Living in cause and effect, the conscious sower. The beginner laments their harvest. The master obsesses over the quality of their seeds. Living in cause and effect is the state of radical responsibility. You have completely abandoned the game of blame and victimization. You understand, on a cellular level, that your present reality is the direct result of the causes, thoughts, words, and actions you have sown in the past. This understanding turns you into an incredibly deliberate gardener. You are aware that every thought you hold, every word you utter, every action you take, is a seed you are planting for your future. Your main question changes. It is no longer, what can I get? But, what am I sowing? In your finances, you stop focusing on getting money, the effect, and focus on providing value, the cause. In your relationships, you stop looking for someone to make you happy, the effect, and focus on being a source of love and peace, the cause. By living from the cause, the effect takes care of itself. You become the deliberate origin of your own destiny. 7. Living in gender, the androgynous creator. The beginner is often trapped in an imbalance, being either too masculine or too feminine. The master has celebrated the inner marriage. Living in gender is the fluid dance between doing and being, between intention and receptivity. You have become a master at knowing when to act with masculine intention, setting a goal and moving toward it with discipline. And you have also become a master at knowing when to let go, when to enter the feminine silence of receptivity, to listen to your intuition and allow the universe to guide you. Your creative life ceases to be a forced struggle or a passive dream. It becomes a breathing cycle, the masculine exhalation of action, followed by the feminine inhalation of reception. It is in this balance that the secret of effortless creation lies. Practice the symphony of your being. Mastery doesn't require more complex techniques. It requires simple and elegant integration. Exercise 1, the master integration question. Instead of multiple exercises, the master operates from a single guiding question. Every morning in your silent ritual, ask yourself this question. How can I, today, be the clearest and most harmonious embodiment of these 7 principles? This question invites your inner wisdom to guide you. The answer will not be an intellectual plan, but a feeling that will accompany you all day. Exercise 2, the final alchemist's vow. This is the act of sealing your identity as a conscious creator. Write this on the first page of a new journal, your mastery book. I, your name, choose to live in conscious harmony with the laws of the universe. I accept my power as the projector of my reality and my responsibility as the cause of my experience. My life, from today on, is my great work, an expression of wisdom, love, and service. And so it is. Sign it. This is your declaration of sovereignty. You are no longer a student of metaphysics. You are metaphysics in action. The 7 laws are not something you know. They are something you are. The universe is no longer a mystery to be solved. It is the partner you dance with. The forbidden knowledge has been revealed. The door has been opened. The rest of the journey is not found in these words, but in the magnificent symphony of your own life. Our journey began in the illusion of chaos, in the belief that we were a small, fragile boat at the mercy of an ocean of chance. And throughout this path, we have torn the veil. We have discovered that the universe does not operate by chance, but by law. You have been initiated into the 7 sacred principles that are the invisible gears of reality. You learned that the universe is mind, and that your thought is creative. That your world is a mirror of your being. That your vibration is the music that attracts your experience. That polarity gives you the power to transmute any state. That rhythm teaches you to dance with the tides. That you are the cause of your own destiny. And that gender teaches you to balance doing and being for effortless creation. But the final revelation, the truly forbidden knowledge, is this. These principles are not external forces operating on you. They are the laws of your own consciousness. The universe is not out there. It is a reflection of the universe you carry within. As above, so below. You are the microcosm that contains the macrocosm. You are the universe experiencing itself. This knowledge was called forbidden, not because it was dangerous to you. It was called forbidden because it is mortal to the illusion of your powerlessness. It returns all power to the one place it has always belonged, to you. Your journey does not end with these words. It is now that it truly begins. Your only practice is no longer to learn, but to remember. When you look at the world, remember that you are looking at a mirror. When you feel an emotion, remember that you are emitting a vibration. When you make a decision, remember that you are sowing a cause. You don't have to do anything extraordinary. You just have to be conscious of the extraordinary power that resides in each of your ordinary acts. If this journey of revelation has resonated with you, we invite you to continue exploring the laws of the inner universe. Subscribe to our channel, Path of Knowledge, for more wisdom. Like this video if you are ready to reclaim your power as a creator. Share this key with someone who is ready to open their own door. Thank you for your courage to seek the truth. The universe was waiting for you.